Of the City of Cottonwood Planning and Zoning Commission at the Cottonwood Recreation Center to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hart.
Present.
Commissioner DeSisto.
Here.
Commissioner Maston. Here. Commissioner Richter. Vice Chairman Dowell.
Here.
Chairman Williams.
Here. Thank you. Okay, first order of business is the approval of the minutes for October 19th, 2020 regular meeting. Do I have any additions, corrections? Okay. Mr. Vice Chairman, would you just give us a quick motion on that to approve that?
I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 19th, 2020 regular meeting.
Second.
Seconds it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Informational reports and updates, Mr. Director.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commission. Start off with, as you know, obviously you're here. We're going to have a couple meetings here at the Recreation Center, mostly due to the necessity of having to have some city council meetings here. So rather than move everything back and forth between here and the clubhouse, it's just easier to have meetings here with City Council, Planning Commission, and Historic Preservation Commission through the month of December. So this is where we'll be for tonight and probably in December, as well as the upcoming City Council meetings, including tomorrow night's City Council meeting, which does lead me into the RV park amendment that came to the commission back in, I think it was October. I was going to the City Council tomorrow for review. They did make some modifications to some of the language in there, specifically regarding the length of stay. So tomorrow is the first reading for that. Marijuana ordinance that
Excuse me, Scott, on
Yes.
the RV, they eliminated that provision, right?
they asked to take
Asked
that
to
language
remove.
out, yes.
Okay.
The marijuana ordinance, that text amendment that we brought forward to address retail sales, if Prop 207 passed, that went to the City Council and was approved. That will become effective 30 days after their approval. Prop 207 did pass, so that'll come into effect with our medical marijuana ordinance as well. Spring Creek annexation is moving forward. That we had a public hearing with that back in October 22nd. That was just a public hearing for City Council to hear from the public. Next step is to do an annexation ordinance, take to the City Council for their action. We don't have an exact date yet on that. It could be one of the December meetings, but again, we don't have an exact date yet. I think, as I mentioned before, we did receive a grant from the State Historic Preservation Office for design guidelines for our historic district to get some of those redeveloped for our Historic Preservation Commission. That's a process you guys will be informed of when we get that. We're going to reach out to a firm to see what we can have them come in and help us with, do overlay district. Some of this was prior to COVID. We were going to have some meetings to go over everything. That's still in the works. It's just depending on what happens, how we're going to be able to do that. So it's temporarily on hold, but the design guidelines are not. We're still going to move forward with that. As you know, Belfry Brewery in Old Town is open, and Circle K is still under construction, moving quite fast. New Verizon store that the commission approved is also off the ground. That's moving forward. A lot of that delay was with ADOT, but now they're moving forward. And I believe that's all I have. Jim, you got anything?
The winery on the hill, doing excavation and...
Yeah, we did issue recently a grading permit for them. They've been doing work up there. That project is off the ground as well.
Any questions of Scott? The next section is call to the public, in which any citizen can address the commission on any item that's not on our agenda tonight, if you so want to do. If you do, please come to the podium and bring a slip with you or get a slip to identify yourself. I haven't got any slips or indication, so we'll move on to our new business. Paget, the first order of business is design reviews 20004 for the Bilar mini storage facility on East Cherry Street. Cherry Avenue, yeah, street.
Thank you, Chairman Williams. Kelly's going to get the lights here so you can see the screen behind you a little bit better. So as you stated, this is a design review for a mini storage facility located at 343 South Cherry Street. It would include 30,900 square feet of indoor climate-controlled area with about 12 interior RV spaces and 15 exterior RV spaces, along with exterior prefabricated storage units located outside in what is presently the paved parking area. So this is at the end of Cherry Street. Cherry and 6 is where the senior center is located. Design review for mini storage. The existing structure that is there was previously used as a truss manufacturer. So it's enclosed on 2 sides, open on 2 sides, just a large covered steel structure. As I said, there's going to be interior storage units and 12 interior RV spaces. It's a 2.2 acre parcel and it's currently zoned heavy industrial. The site is surrounded on 3 sides by the same I2 heavy industrial zoning and backs up to C2 heavy commercial zoning, and that zoning is what faces the bypass road. Current property is mostly paved. It's all been hard surfaced. There's some drainage and retention / landscape areas that are presently existing and designed into the area. The pink shaded area is the existing structure. So you can see the layout of where the small units would be, and then on the lower side of the picture there, internally is where the 12 internal RV spaces would be, and the rest of the RV spaces along that southern property line. The site would be accessed from Cherry Street, which is a private street, and sort of head through what is existing or presently a portion of a church parking lot. It's a shared facility. This is the exterior elevations of what the building would look like once it is enclosed. Some pictures of the area. This is where you would, from standing on Cherry Street, looking towards the access, towards where that truck and fifth wheel is located. North elevation, this is what you see from Cherry Street. And this is what, sort of more from Cherry, a little bit farther, closer to 6th Street. Some photos of the interior of the site. You can see the open nature of the structure. That is the portion of the Clemenceau site right behind to the south. This would all be enclosed. The property across Cherry Street, say if you were exiting the site, this is what you would be coming to along Cherry, and then turn right to head out to 6th Street. The adjacent, this is the rear of a church building that fronts on 6th Street. This is a parking area of theirs. And the property to the south. And presently, there's a tile and granite manufacturer located in the property to the west. So that concludes what I have. The use is a permitted use in that zoning district as far as compatibility with adjacent properties. There is not a lot of additional screening required for something like this because of the adjacent properties. So with that, that's all I have to ask. Do you have any questions? I'll turn the lights.
Mr. Hart, any questions, technical questions?
Jim, is all the drainage from the site being directed toward that detention pond?
Right, those sort of along the entire south side of there's two larger areas along the south side where that drainage would be directed towards.
Mr. Sisto, any?
I don't have any questions at this time.
Vice Chairman, any questions?
The only question I have, who owns Cherry Street right there?
It's
No?
I do not.
Is it owned
I'd
by
have
one
to
of the
look at
property
that.
owners along that, or is it just a separate?
I'm going to step out on a limb here and just say it's owned by the adjacent property owners as it extends down Cherry Street.
Okay.
Okay, across to Cherry. So to the
Church on the stretch, too.
So the adjacent property owners are who own Cherry Street.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
So it's not a public street, right?
Correct.
Okay, is the owner, developer here?
Yes, Paul Millar is here. Would you like to introduce yourself? Do you know
Paul,
Paul?
come up, just, I think it's pretty well outlined, but anything you'd like to add to what Jim said?
No, he did a thorough job, and the pictures help a bunch. I mean, it's currently used it's a storage unit right now for miscellaneous stuff. So this will kind of clean it up and more define it and stuff. So,
Are you pretty well planned to get started fairly soon, or?
yes.
Once you get
that-
planned approval and all the?
Yeah, we'll move ahead if we get approval.
Commissioner Hart, any questions of?
Yes. There's a phrase that when I was looking at the plan that I kept running into, like for the doors, by others.
It's going to be there'll be a kit of everything from one company.
Okay, so
Sells all the
but
doors,
it-
partitions, and even the units outside.
So the petitions and the doors are all going to be done at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what note you're referring to. I don't know why, but it'll be a company-wide thing on the unit we buy. It'll be universal throughout.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I'm good.
That was my only question.
Right, yes. The only real minor question, I noticed some orange and pink dots referred to on the site plan. What are those WP1L and WPCL? Are those lights?
Yeah,
That's why I figured
yeah.
those were just like location of light poles. Okay. I don't have anything, question either. I just look pretty complete there, and we'll see if there's anybody else would like to address it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
I
for,
appreciate you coming.
thank you, guys.
Have you, excuse me, Mr. Millar? One more question, I'm sorry. There are several stipulations requested by the staff for approval of this. Have you reviewed those stipulations?
From my code review,
No, there'll be stipulations to our approval tonight. You might want to take a quick look at that before we go on. Probably nothing in there that'll cause you heartache, but just like to make sure you've looked at it and,
Sure, yeah, I haven't gotten this yet. I mean, yeah, and me and Jim we went over the trash enclosure. Yeah, it looks fine.
Very good.
I'll go over a little more thorough, but first
Okay.
glance.
Thank you, sir. All right. Anybody else would like to address the commission on this project? Do you have any further comments? Okay, you all set? With that, I'll close the floor to the public. Commissioner Hart, your thoughts on this project?
I think it's a good use of the site. And I think it's probably something that a number of people in the city could use some more of. I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea also, and I like the site where they're going to put it. I think it's good usage of that site, and we need storage units in Cottonwood.
Echoing.
Vice Chair,
Yeah, I'm glad to see something going in there. I can tell you that structure has been the envy of some people with some very large trucks who are looking to have some shade. So I like to see it getting good use.
I echo that. That's been sort of an eyesore over there for a long time, and it hasn't been in use. So this is a real good repurpose of that building, of that property, and good infill project, which we're after more and more if we can, and it should be very successful in that location. It's very, very good use. With that, Mr. Vice Chairman, I'll entertain a motion, sir.
I would make a motion to approve. So I would make a motion to approve DR 20-004, Miller Mini Storage, with the following stipulations: that the project is developed in conformance with the development plans as approved at the Planning and Zoning Commission at the November 16th, 2020 meeting; that the project conforms to Code Review Board comments dated September 10th, 2020; that the projects comply with all building, engineering, and fire department requirements; providing landscape adjacent to the Cherry Street frontage to a minimum of 20 feet in depth. The trash enclosures shall be screened with dissolved materials to comply with section 404.S.1 and B, and the landscape buffering requirements of section 407.D.8. And last one, a certificate of zoning compliance and documentation, the completion of conditions shall be issued within 24 months of the Planning and Zoning Commission action.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Commissioner Hart seconds the Vice Chairman's motion. Roll call vote, please, Kathy.
Commissioner Hart,
Aye.
Commissioner DeSisto,
Aye.
Commissioner Maston,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Dowell,
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye. Good luck, sir. Thank you. All right, the next item on our agenda is a conditional use permit 20009 for Marathon Oil signage. This is strictly a conditional use permit regarding the signage there that they're proposing to put on the site. Who's, all right. Get it up here. This is for the Suzy Q convenience store that really recently changed their gasoline distributor. We leave the light behind us on. Can you just leave that little section on? I don't know if it's going to affect that, though. It might affect.
I think we can see that.
Can you see it okay? Yeah, just one of the.
That's good.
That's
We can
probably
see
good.
that fine.
I don't know if you can do that or not.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good.
That's fine.
Yeah, that works.
Okay,
we can see
thank you,
things.
Chairman Williams, members of the commission. Here we are. As you stated, this is a conditional use permit for a sign plan. Formerly, the Conoco facility will be rebranded as a Marathon Oil gas station, also commonly known as Suzy Q. Presently, the site has two subject pole signs, along with some building signage and a canopy sign. A conditional use permit request is required because the monument sign requested does exceed code requirements by 14.2 square feet. Current signage totally is 137.8 square feet, and proposed signage, should this be approved, would be at 152 square feet. As I stated, there are currently two pole signs at that location. One of them would be removed, and the new sign would meet the 10-foot maximum height limit. However, the signage requested is a little bit larger. See, here is the Suzy Q, and you can see the canopy. This is the sign. On the far right of that picture, you can see where the old sign is located. The new sign in those two drawings on the left side of the screen would be the new proposed sign. You can see how the change just from Conoco to Marathon is the only change on the canopy. This Suzy Q sign and the signage on the front of the building is not proposed to change. That would be the sign remaining, and the wall sign would be remaining. Here you can see a better representation of what was there. The two pole signs, one with the Conoco on top, the other with the Suzy Q. It says one in front, that would be the one that would be changing, along with the signage on the canopy. That sign, its height was approximately 20 square feet, would be lowered down to 10 square feet. I'm sorry, 10 feet in height. Across the street, there's a retail center looking east on Main Street. Adjacent property to the west is a Verizon. Property to the south, also some to the south, is the Home Depot parking lot. To the east is the Kentucky Fried Chicken and their sign, which you recently saw a few months back as they brought their sign plan to you. I think I stumbled over this, explaining this picture a little bit here, so let me back up on this. The Conoco sign closest to you there in the forefront is the one that would be removed. The Suzy Q sign farther to the west there would remain. The signage on the building would remain, and the signage on the canopy would be changed to the new brand. So in staff's review, we looked at the 20-foot high sign. Even though the requested sign exceeded what code allows, a conditional use permit from the Planning Commission is one of the options that the property owner has should they request to exceed what the code requires. Since the sign is coming down from a 20-foot height to a 10-foot height, we felt that that was a good concession, a good modification to the overall site, and an improvement for the signage in general along the frontage. I think that's all I have to say. If there's any questions.
Is there a reason why they're not choosing to do anything with the Suzuki sign?
I guess that would be a question for the applicant. It wasn't part of their request to
Okay.
change that one. It is included in the overall square foot of signage for the site as a whole, but it is not being requested to be changed.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Is there any questions of Jim?
So the Conoco sign goes away, and the marathon sign goes in its place, and it's only 10 feet.
That is
Correct?
that is correct. So you can see on the far right there is the Conoco sign that would be
Right.
removed and would be replaced with, probably the best example of it being on site would be the middle photo there.
Excuse me for this answer, I mean, this question, if, you know, it's obvious, but it appears as though the sign is sitting on that piece of property that shouldn't have anything sitting on it. Am I correct in assuming that?
One of the code requirements is that it be 5 feet within the property line.
Okay.
So wherever the property line is determined to be, it has to remain at least 5 feet within the property line. So I
Okay.
think where it's superimposed over that
Is within the
landscape.
5 feet? Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
The only question I have is, it's 138 square feet right now, and they want to go to 152?
Yes.
Where's the other 12 feet? Because it looks like it's exactly the same to me.
There is some signage on the front of the building. Which way? On the front of the Suzuki building, there is up sort of in that rafter. The picture I took was the day that they were out painting, and so the signage is not there.
Yeah, but nothing on the building was going to
there's-
change.
Okay, pardon?
But nothing on the building was going to change.
No, correct. They just removed it when they did the painting.
Right, so I'm curious where the extra 12 square feet is going to be at.
That is this sign right here. The Food Mart sign is remaining.
Instead of it being 40 square feet, it's 50.
Oh, so that one just expanded.
No, the Food Mart and Suzuki sign are staying the same. The only one that's slightly being shortened and expanded is the monument sign.
So the marathon sign itself is the one that's going to be bigger than the Conoco 20-foot sign. That's where the size difference is?
Correct. Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
But that's only 10 feet, right? The new marathon sign's only 10 feet tall.
We're talking about the footage of the sign. The square footage is a little bit excess. Typically, these monument signs are 10 by 4, and this one will be 10 by 12 and 14.2 feet. So
Okay.
that's that excess footage.
Okay.
The only question I have, they're going to take out that rock base that's on the existing sign and put in this new, concrete, plain concrete
That's
paint.
what is proposed for the sign, that it be a solid base.
Something we could talk to, is the property owner or developer agent here tonight?
Yes, they are. I believe it's the property owner and also
They would come forward, maybe
the
we.
applicant, the sign
Okay.
company.
Yes, sir, if you'd come up to the podium and give us your name, please, sir.
Good evening, and thank you. He did a very good representation of what we're trying to accomplish there. My name is Brad Nelson, and I'm just here representing Signs Plus, who submitted for the sign permit that we're wanting to put a new sign up over at Suzy Q's.
The question I have is, these monument signs, they've been going up, and we're, for instance, at Maverick and some of the other signs we've had, have retained this rock base. It's sort of our Cottonwood insignia kind of thing, and just like the one you have that's on the existing pole sign. What would be the problem in facing that, giving some kind of rock effect to that base rather than just that plain bright white painted concrete?
Well, there's a reason that it was removed. It didn't fit. The sign has a certain dimensions to it.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't fit over the current rock base.
Sure.
And we have most of your branded gas stations, you have your image that's pretty much cookie cutter, common images. And that's one of our images that we have for Marathon. And it helps represent that brand kind of wherever you might see that brand.
The white base helps with the brand?
It's more of a conformity within that national brand image. So usually where you might see a Marathon monument sign, you might see it developed just the way you see it there.
Anybody have any questions?
Other than the one about why are you not choosing to do anything with the Suzy Q sign? Happy with the way it is? Or?
You're referring to the Suzy Q sign that's on two poles behind it? Yes. Usually when you get to one of these types of businesses, you're going to see signage that represents the store business itself, and then you'll see signage that represents the gas station business. And so the Suzy Q sign that's been up there for quite a long time, not quite sure how long, but that represents that site.
Okay.
And that represents that store. And what we're doing is we're changing away from the Conical brand over to a Marathon brand, and we're bringing the image, and then we're trying to do it within the conformity of your town. We started off here with a non-conforming sign, and what we're trying to bring you is a sign that conforms to your conditions here in your town.
Two questions. So I know you're trying to stay within the brand guidelines, but are there any alternative, are there any alternatives where even where the blue goes all the way down on this? It just feels very, it feels like it's waiting to get tagged is what it feels like.
Like it's missing something.
And the second question is, you're so close to being within, I think we all appreciate that you're coming down from 20 to 10 feet, but you're so close to being within the actual guideline where if you made this 9 feet tall, you'd be significantly closer. How far? They're 12
No,
feet?
the actual sign is just the sign.
Is that, we're not counting
No,
the
yeah,
base?
the base doesn't count in this. Unless it had.
No, the overall
verbiage on
height
it.
of the sign is 10 feet.
Okay.
From the grade level of the ground to the top of the sign is 10 feet.
And it's a solid 10 feet, so you have
So the
5,
sign itself is actually, what, 5 by 5? The
So it's not so
Marathon
big.
image? Yeah, 5 by 10.
but you have also a 5 by 10 white wall.
Correct.
Yeah.
Talking about, can that be modified, whatever our thoughts are on that.
Maybe even if we could stamp it with a texture or something, it just feels very, I feel like it will get dirty and not be good looking on what's becoming a increasingly main street.
Well, I think our main thing that we're working with the city on right now is just to be compliant. And so there's some issues that we've been discussing about being compliant in regards to the width and the height,
Yeah.
location like that. And so what you're telling me in this community meeting is you guys are trying to, you have a certain type of a compliance in your community that we haven't been aware of yet? Is that what we're talking about? Or was that already in the city code?
It's not a code requirement, but it could be a conditional use permit
Or
requirement.
conditional? Okay.
Yeah, that's something the commission could decide if they so choose. It's the same with the size too. Now, that's why so that's part of it, would be part if that were to change. I'm just, putting that out, but
Sure.
yeah, it's not in the base code itself.
Well, our whole reason for being here tonight is to be compliant.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we've had a history of, it started way back, and there's some variations going on of doing rock accents around, particularly monument signs, even on buildings. The new Verizon building going down the street where Woody's was, it has got some rock veneer along the, wainscoting along it. And it's really been the people we've worked with, Walmart, almost everybody that's put up one of these in the since I've been on the commission in 10 years, has pretty much agreed that, that's something that could be done because it's sort of a local, we don't want to get away from your branding. And you have the branding in the sign itself quite a bit, I think, and on the canopy. I think it's going to show up real good, as you're driving by, what you've got there. So that's just some of the things we've been looking at. So just to let you know, okay? And we don't know, we'll see what happens.
Sure. Yeah, and I think the only thing I could just throw out there is just that a lot of these images are just to create kind of a national type image.
Sure.
Where the customer is aware, easier to identify with that brand.
Sure.
And sometimes when you change them and add all these different variations, they don't see it as well.
Oh, yeah, we get that, but Duncan, they have their own, so do the coffee shops. They all have that same national brand, but they were able to tweak it just a little bit.
Sure.
So that they fit into our
The
community a
only
little
thing I
better.
can say, like I said, just sticking with, we just want to be compliant. If whatever comes from this meeting tonight, and if we can work with the city, that's what we want to do.
I can understand you can't use that existing base. That's not a problem. This would be something new if you did it. Yeah, is the owner here too? You want to come up, sir? And if you have a comment, and then please identify your name, please, for us. You can take your mask off. Okay. That's okay to talk. It's too hard to talk.
Rob Harrison, one of the owners of Suzuki Market. To clear up a couple of your questions, you mentioned the Suzuki sign. It's going to get a facelift paint and a new insert, but we're not touching the structural because of, issues we're having now. Just like you mentioned, we want to keep the rocks. So did I. I had a friend of mine who's not even on Earth anymore built that. I had to tear it out because we couldn't get past the height situation. Okay, I wanted to set the sign right on top of that rock structure, but no, that puts us 3 feet over your height requirement, so we had to demolish it. So these are just like little things that we've been trying to tweak to make everybody happy, but still keep it within what the community wants. And so I'm hoping you're answering your questions, but I mean, we can try to put a rock thing around it, but we had one and we weren't allowed to keep it. So trying to work every which way, but we're either too wide or we're too high and we're bringing things down, but we want to be within what you guys.
Sure, yeah.
But they've changed in the last 5 years or 2 years. So, we're trying to work with y'all.
I think the only thing we're asking is that white portion behind or underneath the marathon sign itself has a different look to it other than white. I think that's the only thing that we're really struggling with. The sign itself is fine. It's just that bottom portion that we're afraid is not going to be white for very long,
Well,
for whatever reasons.
Yeah, and to me, it sticks out.
They
So-
put in a rock base.
I have, on the
age.
white portion of the sign, do you know if Marathon does any type of advertising there, like oil or, I noticed there's a STP sign up above. Well, on that white part, do they advertise anything on that white part?
No.
No.
No, that would be additional signage.
Okay,
Yeah, they did that.
okay.
Now, I will say, I mean, if, like, keeping to the city codes, we're pretty much willing to do whatever. And, you know, there's paneling, like you had mentioned, can you stamp it? Can you put something that looks like bricks or, you know, whatever? There's paneling, or there's some things that can accommodate that. We would probably need a little direction, because this is a three-legged stool that we're here. Because we have the community on one leg, we got the city, and then we got the owners, you know, and the brand image that we're trying to all be compliant with. And so right now, we feel like we're being compliant with the city, where we've met their requirements for a sign. And so now you guys have some requirements in regards to other image, such as stonework or whatever. If you can give us somewhere to go with that, I mean, we could go to the city and say, there's some paneling that we can put in place of where the white is, and it has the image of a cobblestone or a stacked brick or whatever. We could do that too, as long as we're okay within the city to do that.
Very good, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Right.
Thank you. Anybody else want to address the commission on this project? No? I'll close the floor to the public. Commissioner Hart, I'll start with you.
Generally, I like most of what they sign, but I think the monument sign would look better with a rock wainscot. Our favorite example is the chiropractor's office on Cottonwood.
Yeah,
Something along those lines. It'll only add about 4 inches to the width of the base as a wainscot, and I don't think it'll improve the looks of the sign tremendously.
yeah.
And otherwise, I think what they're doing is, you know, is definitely an improvement.
Commissioner Zissou.
No, I think my questions have been answered, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Right, very good.
I think my questions have been answered. I agree, little wainscoting.
What are we talking specifically?
About covering that white area.
But with what? Do a
I'd like,
cobblestone thing, or are we looking just at the rock, piled rock like we?
I think a rock panel, like a fake rock panel would be fine. Yeah. I mean, it wears, but it would be fine for this.
I'm under the same impression as the white. I like the what's currently there. If it kind of looked like that, I would be okay with it. You know, however that was accomplished, you know, it got accomplished, whether it be real rock or if it's something that you can, something faux that was put up, I'd be good with that.
Representative Sign Company, could you come back up, please, sir? In your experience, is there a rock kind of false front that you can?
Sure. Matter of fact,
It could be-
you can
could
go
be
to
added
like
to
a
that
Home
white
Depot
area?
or a Lowe's. Like if you wanted to have that type of rock look inside your home on a wall, you can buy a 4x8 sheet of plywood
Yeah.
or of that rock facing. And we could use that and overlay that over the ACM or over the white paneling. It won't be anything structural. It'll just be something that's attached to that. I don't think we want to do anything structural in a way that would require like a footing
No.
and things like that.
The other alternative would be to paint it some other color. A more neutral color rather than appearing white. Okay, thank you, sir. Does that sound, before we do a vote, go some kind of paneling, a rock?
Yeah,
type,
stacked rock.
We'll leave the staff to, that they can take a look at it, bring it back to the staff, just to see if it,
You're talking like a facade?
facade kind of.
Sure.
Yeah, without actually putting rock.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm in
yeah,
favor of that.
without going that expense and that trouble. Sound good? I'm on board with that. Mr. Vice Chairman, you think you can add a stipulation?
Can, I do
Yes.
just have one question then, and I want to make sure we're talking on the same
Right.
issue. I feel I'm sort of hearing the commission say that it be a stacked rock or a veneer of some type. But I think I hear the applicant saying that it would be essentially a piece of plywood or some material that had a graphic of rock or stone or brick. Okay, so okay.
Yeah,
So I just wanted
that's
to
what-
make sure that.
No, that's what
all
we're
of a sudden
talking about.
Tomorrow, we're not a different.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's what we're
So
talking about,
you're-
just
you're
something to address
understanding,
that base up.
Okay,
Doesn't necessarily have to be a rock veneer, but we can,
wanted to make sure.
something like that, yes. Try to come up with some verbiage that everybody can live with. While we're waiting on that, we have 4 stipulations. The property owner come up for a second. Jim, has he seen the stipulations? We have stipulations that that's going to be in compliance with what you're presenting tonight, Blum, as amended by the commission and so forth. As approved by the planning commission. Approved at the planning committee. Submitted. Yes, sir. Okay. Any of those 4 stipulations plus a stipulation on decorating the base of the monument sign creating a heartburn for you, sir?
No. No.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. We just want to make sure that, you understand exactly what we're going to get to tonight, okay? All right. Thank you. Vice Chairman.
I move to approve CUP 20-009 to allow the Marathon Oil/Signs Plus to exceed the allowable signage requirements subject to the following stipulations. 1, that the project is developed in conformance with the proposed sign area shown in the sign permit application approved at the Planning Commission meeting on November the 16th of 2020. Number 2, the leading edge of the monument sign shall be a minimum of 5 feet from the property line. Number 3, a certificate of zoning compliance documenting the completion of conditions shall be issued within 12 months from the date of this approval. Number 4, the Marathon monument sign will have a rock-type veneer affixed to the bottom white portion of the sign. And number 5, the city of the Cottonwood reserves the right to revoke the conditional use permit if the use creates irreparable public safety problems as determined by the city.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh. You
I
can have it.
second.
Who seconded? Commissioner Sisto seconds the vice chairman's motion. Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Hart,
Aye.
Commissioner DeSisto,
Aye.
Commissioner Maston,
Aye.
Vice Chairman Dowell,
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye. Gentlemen, thank you very much. We appreciate it and look forward to the new project and hope it goes well for you. Thank you. All right, on next item, discussion items are our December meeting date. Mr. Director, you have some information on that.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Commission. The December meeting date is December 21st, which is the Monday before Christmas. Just want to make sure the commission doesn't have any concerns with that. It looks like we will be bringing at least one item that we would like to hit that date and not move the meeting forward if possible, so we can make sure we hit posting deadlines and get this on the agenda. Right now, I know of one item for sure. There may be others. So I just want to make sure the commission's still okay having the meeting that night.
Right now,
Right now, okay. I'll try, yeah.
I was going to go to Europe, but for the meeting, I can.
Italy, right?
I'll be here.
Mr. DeSisto.
So far, that seems fine.
Mr. Hart,
Same thing.
Right,
So
you're-
far, yeah, I mean,
Yes.
Right.
I don't know of
you're
it.
not going to Vietnam or South Korea or somewhere?
No.
Yeah, my wife's keeping me at home, so.
All right, well,
So far, so good right now. We'll just have to keep everybody, if you have any changes, please let Scott or Jim know so that we make sure we have at least a quorum there since we're reduced down a little bit.
yeah, we'll plan on moving forward as originally scheduled.
Anybody have any suggested topics for future meetings? Keep going on and you guys keep bringing us all this good stuff. Mr. City Manager, you have no wisdom tonight? All right, sir. Good to see you. All right, good. We have a new development director. Have we been introduced? Yes. All right.
Yeah, she's
All
been
right.
introduced. Trisha's our Economic Development Director.
Yes. Welcome, dear. I don't want to ignore you. We appreciate you both coming. All right. With that, I adjourn the meeting. Get out of here.